Listen,
Yeah.
roster decisions are tough. And the nice thing is that on an episode like this, we get to speculate about who might start for Georgia and who might sit the bench and who might be cut for Georgia. But at the end of the episode, they all still play for Georgia. That's the nice thing about this. So just hypothetically, walk down this road with us and let's talk about who we prioritize on this Georgia football roster right after today on Locked On Bulldogs podcast. Yep, that.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back. This is Locked On Bulldogs, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. He is Daniel. I am Clint. Together, we are Locked On Bulldogs. Today's episode brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs. More on them in a moment. Thank you, LinkedIn. Thanks for making us your first listen. The 199 who are always here no matter what, and the 199 who stay all the way to the third segment. We appreciate you greatly. Stay to the third segment and get thus donned loyal third segment listeners. Today, we are talking about start, bench, and cut. We are playing the role. If Kirby Smart was to come to us and say, hey, I'm going to outsource my roster management to you all,
that would be foolish on his part.
It would be a fireable offense.
Yep.
It would just straight to jail.
Straight to jail.
Straight
you
to
go
jail.
straight to jail. You overcook fish, straight to jail.
Straight to jail. He's not. So we're playing in a make-believe world, at which most of our life is make-believe. By the way, Buckeye fans, love that you're here. Love that you're here, Buckeye fans. Go. From what I understand, apparently a new term, go Bucks. I thought the Milwaukee Bucks were something.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay Bucks.
Tampa Bay Bucks.
Sure. Even the Pirates, little cute nickname Bucks.
Yeah, there you go. The Pittsburgh Pirates. Not
Buckeyes. Anyway, glad to have you here, Ohio State fan.
What if they don't win the national championship this year, though?
I sincerely and genuinely believe that the more and more I interact with Ohio State fan, they are becoming increasingly above Florida and Tennessee fan as the worst fan base on the planet. I'm becoming convinced.
Listen, they're pushing for it. Let them beat Michigan one time this decade, and then they'll really be high on their horse.
But that's look, Harbaugh's a great coach. Okay, one of the best.
That is what Ohio State fans have universally said forever. So
forever.
All right, we're 3 minutes in. We've talked a lot about Ohio State so far. Let's talk. We're playing the game called Start Bench Cut today, in which it's all about roster priorities, and so it gives you an idea. You match up one guy versus another guy. You got to choose one guy who has to start on this year's team, one guy who has to ride the bench on this year's team but is available to come in and sub, and one guy you have to cut from the team entirely. And so when push comes to shove, who is it that we are going to choose to prioritize? Who are the more valuable pieces to this Georgia roster? So if you're not into hypotheticals and you're not into these types of games, just think of it that way. We're ranking guys in terms of most valuable to the roster to least valuable to the roster. And also, if you're not into random hypotheticals, then I should be honest with you, this is probably not the podcast for you. There's a lot of great content out there. There's a lot of great content.
Yep.
But if you're here, go ahead and subscribe. It would do us a huge favor. $1.99. Excited to get to the third segment with you today. I'm going to go with a trio of second year guys. Okay. They play a couple different positions. But we're gonna group them all together because they all kind of come out of the same class. Okay, we're going to go Jordan Hall, defensive tackle.
Yep.
Raylan Wilson, linebacker.
Here we go. Okay, my boy, just going after it.
And Anthony Evans III, wide receiver for the University of Georgia. We're going to play start, bench, and cut for the 2024 season.
Okay, this is rather disheartening because I think I might already be pigeonholed into keeping a guy starting that I wouldn't have done normally. I think I'm forced to do so based upon the seniority and the position elsewhere, which I don't like being painted in a corner, Daniel. It's not something I enjoy too well. I kind of control freak a little bit. So that's number one. Number two, I don't like that the inside linebackers included here. I just want to keep all of them.
Well, why don't we just keep them all? And that's why I mentioned in the cold, we are going to keep them all. Like that is the plan. So just breathe easy.
Okay. Well, I want to keep them all. Raylan Wilson showed great flashes last year and in G.
I expect a big step from Raylan Wilson this year.
I think you and I both believe a 3-headed rotation at inside linebacker is going to be featured this year. I think Jalen Walker is going to go ahead and play probably some more blitz packages, but I'm hoping that we have another 3-headed monster like we did a couple of years ago at inside linebacker.
I think legitimately that should be the expectation.
Yeah. Okay. Great. And then lastly,
but will it be on your roster?
But Jordan Hall is a dude. Like he a dude. Y'all? Okay. I am forced to start Anthony Evans III. I am contractually obligated to start him or bench him. I can't cut him. This is I can't do it. Because if you cut him, there ain't much in the way of returning talent next year wide receiver room for Georgia. London Humphreys is coming back, Scovey White, Tuggle. But I anticipate Dylan Bell, Dom Lovett, Aaron Smith, Colby Young. Those are all transfer upperclassmen, senior, junior types that are ready to be drafted.
Yeah. Talon Taylor better be ready to go if you cut Anthony Evans.
Okay. Anthony Evans. And now Anthony Evans, I anticipate a lot of playing time. So I have to do one of those too. This pisses me off because the same thing might be said of the defensive line as well. The next depth after that includes Jordan Hall. Daniel,
there's one position that it clearly has the most depth,
and that's inside linebacker.
The most long-term depth of these three, for sure.
I'm pissed.
And it also features probably the best player of the three.
The best player of the three is Raylan Wilson.
Yeah. So
I hate to do this. I have seen Kirby work magic on the defensive line, not needing top tier talent and developing guys. I'm going to bench Anthony. I'm going to start Raylan Wilson. Wow. I'm going to cut Jordan Hall.
Wow. That's I would have started Anthony. If I was going to do that, I would have started Anthony Evans and bench Raylan Wilson because I don't think you want Raylan, right? You want CJ and Smile to start. And so, but Anthony Evans, I think if you told me we're going to start Anthony Evans ahead of
Dylan Lovett,
Colby. Dom Lovett, ahead of Dom Lovett, like in the slot, like we're going to start him ahead of Dom Lovett in the slot, I'd be like, okay, I'm not all that worried about that. Like that'll be fine. Yeah, I don't know. I think I would have started Jordan Hall, and
you and I got.
I think I would have cut.
Raylan.
I think I would have cut Raylan Wilson. Yeah,
wow.
I would have had to. I would have had to, but didn't like it. That's why I gave it to you. We got 2 more of these coming up right after this.
This is, in fact, LinkedIn. LinkedIn jobs fantastic right now. If you are hiring or if you're looking for a job, LinkedIn is where you're going to be. Small businesses find qualified professionals in the right role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn. LinkedIn Jobs is the tools to help the right professionals for your team faster and for free. LinkedIn isn't just a job board. It helps you hire professionals you can't find anywhere else. 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites. So if you're not looking on LinkedIn, you're like recruiting in Florida. You just don't have the talent acquisition possible. LinkedIn, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Hire professionals like professional on LinkedIn. They know your small businesses are wearing many hats. You might not have the time or resources to hire. LinkedIn is constantly finding ways to make that process easier. Just launched a feature that helps you write job descriptions. 2.5 million small businesses use LinkedIn for hiring. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. Post your job free. Terms and conditions apply. You hurt me real deep. It was a personal attack when you went Raylan Wilson. Didn't really appreciate it. But I understand it. I get it. It's
the game.
It's the game.
The game we play.
It's yes. Okay. I'm gonna go stick on the defensive side.
Okay.
I'm gonna go young talent, Daniel. This is wild speculation.
Okay.
But at the same time, we have to start one of them. So one of them is going to be a major contributor every single game for Georgia on the defensive line. And we've talked about how defensive line for Georgia might have a lot of depth and might be a really top talent, top 5 unit on this team. But I'm going to force you to go here. Freshmen. These are all freshmen we're talking about.
Okay.
Ogboku, Jordan Thomas, Joseph Jonah Ajayi. These 3 uber talented defensive linemen. One you have to start today. One has to ride the pine. And one is gone from the program, Daniel, of these, like I said, uber talented 3 guys.
Okay. It was Ogboko, Ajayi, and who?
Thomas.
Okay.
Jordan Thomas.
Yeah. So
so different skill set, different position groups with these guys. If you look at their body of work, they're not the same. That's why they took 3 of the freshmen in the same recruiting class.
No, they're not the same at all.
Not at all.
No. Okay. I am going to. Jeez Louise.
Welcome to the blender.
I don't care for it at all, and I'm going to start here, and I'll tell you why. Ogboko is, how do I say? He's huge. He's massive. Okay, and he is in no way ready to play on this year's team. Like he's
no.
It wouldn't be great to have him out there. And yet, if you go ahead and cut him, then you're sacrificing something that you can't just replace. And that's like that elite size, like massive size. Now I can get the 2 most similar guys though are Jordan Thomas and Ogboko in terms of their position, their skill set. And I do think, it's a smaller like division, high school division that Jordan Thomas comes from. And so I do think, you could have stuff, but even if you look at the way he plays at, the tape from like all America games or camps or like all of this, like I really do think Jordan Thomas has the potential to be an absolute stud on the interior of the defensive line. And so I think I am going to cut Ogboko, even though I don't want to, because I have Jordan Thomas. Because listen to me, I'll tell you who I'm not going to cut.
No,
and that's
don't do
Joseph Jonah Ajayi. I'm not going to cut him at all because he has the highest ceiling of any of these 3 guys. So now my question is, who do I start?
That's right.
Neither of them are ready to start.
No.
Neither of them. I mean, they'll both play this year on this defensive line. But we're talking about mop-up duties. We're talking about a couple plays here, maybe late in the year. But I got to start one against Clemson. Week 1. Okay. Ajonye is not ready to start. He's raw. He's young. He is physically incredibly talented. But I'm going to start Jordan Thomas. I'm going to bench Ajonye. And I am going to rely on that classic heavy rotation in the defensive front.
Yep.
And say that we'll be able to get by with starting, an inexperienced guy. If I'm gonna start an inexperienced guy, I'd rather him be inexperienced and bigger, stronger, and Jordan provides that. Jordan Thomas provides that, as opposed to Ajonye, who's far more athletic. But if you're athletic, that can sometimes mean you run yourself right out of position. Just right out the gap. The gap you were supposed to be in.
Ability.
Yeah. You were supposed to be here, and instead you're way over there, and the running back's running right through your gap. And so give me the big guy to start. But, man, it's a great reminder that this defensive line class is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Those three on the same field at the same time, Daniel, is very, very problematic for people.
It's a lot of size, athleticism, muscles. Like, it's just it's a lot for somebody to try to take in.
Yeah. All of a sudden, you get those three and Justin Williams behind them.
Yeah. Yeah. Chris Cole just coming in.
Okay. Good luck. I think you actually did it right. Ogboku, only playing football for a couple of years. He has the biggest wild card out of all the factors. He could wind up being the best out of these three.
He absolutely could. Don't look at that 3 stars. Please don't look at that 3 stars.
Disregard it.
Yeah, you're not going to want to pay any attention to that.
But yeah, I think you're right on that. We're going to come back after these and let you know more about decisions on roster. And these are, in fact, FanDuel. FanDuel is fantastic. Daniel and I love them. The official sports book of Locked On Podcast and Locked On Bulldogs. Summertime means baseball, NBA Finals, more. You can check it all on FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $200 you can use to bet on anything from Finals MVP to who's going to hit one out of the park. FanDuel.com/locked-on. Add a big win to your summertime bucket list. FanDuel, America's #1 sports book.
Clint, I've had it in my back pocket for a while. The 199 is here. We're all having a good time. Welcome to you all. So glad to have you. This podcast is for you. It's fantastic to have you here. Welcome to the third segment. It's our favorite part of the show. If we could just do third segments, that's all we would do. It's not gonna be particularly pleasant, Clint. But I think this is I've had this in my mind. This is probably the most compelling start bench cut that I can think of. Okay? It's going to force you to prioritize some things. And I'm curious. Okay? All right. I'm going to go I just got to think of who the third guy is.
Okay.
I got to make it the right guy. Okay. I'm going to go CJ Allen.
Oh, whoa.
That's the right guy. That was the right guy. All right. And then I'm going to go Peyton Woodring and Brett Thorson. That's your 3. Start bench cut.
SOB, Daniel. Okay. Here's why this is so compelling. you forced to carry a benched kicker. He ain't out there kicking.
Let's be honest. A bench kicker is basically a cut kicker.
Yeah.
Or cut punter.
Same thing. So you're asking me, do you not want to have a punter? Do you not want to have
the entire special teams roster?
I hate you with the fire of 1,000 suns.
You gotta prioritize. You gotta decide what is most important for the team, and what do we need this year to win football games.
See, this year, that's what's really, really wild and important to understand, because we've already talked about, it's already known the incredible schedule that we have with number of really, really compelling games. What that means is that
any close games in there? There's going to be any close games?
Ask me if Kirby is Riverboat Gambler on his side of the 50 in Tuscaloosa. He going to go ahead and just roll that dice and say, let me put my defense in a bad position in a hostile environment on the road in the SEC? Or is he going to, on 4th and 4, punt the damn football?
Just put him in the coffin.
And we have one of the best punters in all of college football and a kicker who is quite exceptional, probably top 8, 9, 7, somewhere in that range of kickers.
Yeah, Peyton Woodring really impressed
down the stretch,
especially last season. Yeah,
Yeah.
And Brett Thorson, obviously.
Okay,
love what we got there.
Ask Ohio State if kicking is important, even if you have a world-class generational talent at quarterback. So we have that, and Ohio State was coming up short in that. Son of a gun, I did not think you were ever going to present a world in which I didn't have CJ Allen starting, Daniel. And yet
you can. It's still right there. So just so we're clear, on the roster right now, we got Noah Jones, a junior from Cairo, Georgia.
Which
he's the backup punter. And we're carrying 3 place kickers right now.
But please,
we're carrying 3 of them.
But please,
in addition to Peyton Woodring, so we got 4 place kickers on the roster right now. Surely some of those guys can kick it inside of 30.
Here's where I'm going to go. This is the simple fact to me. I'm benching CJ Allen.
You got to.
I have enough depth.
Because he can still play.
He could still play. We have plenty of depth. The most talent-rich environment is inside linebacker. We can find Raylan Wilson, can go ahead and start with Smile Mond, and CJ can come off the bench. I had to find somebody
that you couldn't just instantly cut.
I
didn't want to go Carson Beck because it was too. You have to start him, or we lose every game. I had to find that right, and I think you made the right call. I think you benched CJ Allen. Now, who do you want on your team? A place kicker or a punter?
You got to go with kicker. You got to go Woodring. It has to be. Thorson's fantastic, but I only use his own words against him right now. It's not my fault I'm cutting you. It's actually your fault I'm cutting you, because Thunderleg lots of times was on the Twitter getting mad at Carson Beck in the offense for not getting him an opportunity to get out there and showcase himself. So it's your own words that doomed you.
You have whole games where you don't even play. Yeah, that's true.
You got to have Woodring come out there, and you have to have him be a kicker. We're going to need him a bunch this year, and we can't get away from drives without points. We got to have drives getting points on the board in many of these games in Austin, in Tuscaloosa, at the Grove. It's going to be huge, going to be key. And so there's my start bench cut, Daniel.
I think that's right. I think it's the right call. Georgia's going to be in a lot of close games this year, a lot of field goal games. You do not want to be down by 2 and trotting out a backup kicker, all right, from the 40-yard line.
Buckets upon buckets.
You do not want it to be New Year's Eve with the clock striking midnight and trotting out a less than average kicker, trying to hook one in there for old Ryan Day. No, you made the right call. This has been the Locked On Bulldogs podcast. We will be back later in the week with more Georgia football talk, and we will see you guys then.
See you.